Good day, everyone. KJ here. It's Thursday. It's like the week is going by so fast. I mean, I don't know if it's because I'm getting older that the time flies. I just don't know. Good day, Vivian Lundgren. Sitting and waiting for KJ while I'm enjoying babysitting my grandson. He's sitting on the floor quietly playing with his toys, says Vivian. Well, isn't that special? Vivian, that grandbaby probably just loves you, huh? Anyway, so this morning was the last pre-trial hearing for Donna Adelson. And that's tying up loose ends, getting ready. Tuesday begins jury selection. They're going to have Monday off because of a holiday. It's a Jewish holiday. So they're going to get started on Tuesday, and they had some matters to go over. You can find so much out beforehand. Clues, y'all, clues on what the state will present. As you recall, there have already been other trials. Charlie Adelson, Catherine McManawal, Fredo Garcia. Over the last 10 years, there's so many things that everyone already knows that the state is going to present. But with that said, I want to go over all of this with you because there are some new things that I've learned, and I hope that you are gearing up for the Donna Adelson trial because, folks, I'm going to do my damnedest to get through it with your help, the Rays, research analysis, and you being the only you're ever going to be. We're going to go through it together. And so I'm going to get started. Norma Guerrera, hello. Rita Lou, Vixtex, again, hello. So this morning basically was, there were some motions, some outstanding motions that the judge had to sift through as it pertains to the state's witnesses or exhibits or things of that sort that Dan Rashbaum objected to. He wanted some of this stuff taken out of the trial that's coming up. And so we're going to go over this together. Yes, Rita Lou, we're gearing up. Hello, Cindy Bullock. So let's get started. I got to get through this because I want to talk to y'all today also about the news that Catherine McManawal and Luis Rivera have already been brought into the Leon County Jail awaiting Donna Adelson's trial because they are going to be testifying in her case. We're going to go over a few things about their testimony just to get us ready foundationally, y'all. Justice through understanding means so much to so many people. But if we can have this awareness of what has happened before, and we can have the questions or answers about things that could happen down the road, then it's going to all click better for us. So, first and foremost, there was Charlie Adelson's former attorney. It was a Mr. Marcus who filed a motion to quash his being a state's witness. He did not want to come and testify for the state in Donna Adelson's trial. Now, what would his testimony have been like? Well, first of all, he wants to get out of it completely. And for those that didn't get to hear the hearing this morning, I'll post it on the community wall. But let's just go through what is supposedly supposed to be testified to. What happened was, after Catherine McManawal's arrest, Mr. Marcus, which was Charlie Adelson's attorney at the time, he did something. He immediately called up a Detective Isom and asked the detective, because Catherine McManawal had been arrested, were they going to arrest Charlie Adelson? Now, why would an attorney call law enforcement to ask this question if Charlie Adelson had nothing to do with anything that Catherine McManawal or Fredo Garcia or Luis Rivera had done? If he was in the middle of being extorted by these people. Why would Charlie Adelson's attorney call and ask, is my client going to be arrested? That does not look good at all. And the judge said, yes, that information can come in through the testimony of Mr. Marcus because, folks, he's going to make Mr. Marcus come and testify for the state. But Mr. Marcus said the reason that he did not want to come and testify was because no legal fees had ever been paid, and there isn't anything on record that backs that up other than to say, who else is going to be at this trial that is going to go on the stand to say that people had approached them about paying Catherine McBanawal's legal fees? Catherine McBanawal's brother. And if you recall, in Charlie Adelson's case, Dan Rashbaum was cross-examining Catherine McBanawal, and she went to talk about somebody had approached them to pay her legal fees. So take that into consideration when you've got Charlie Adelson's attorney calling to say, is my client going to be arrested? Well, why would he do that? And also the legal fees that they have no proof have been paid. But the state says in all of this that this goes to the conspiracy to pay Katie's fees, whether they were paid or not. And the judge said that obviously this information, this testimony will come in. So that will look interesting to a jury, will it not? I mean, you think if this whole situation about an extortion, if it was really true, then why would Charlie Adelson's attorney be saying, you know, is my client going to be arrested? Wouldn't Charlie have shared this information with Mr. Marcus when Catherine McBanawal was arrested? Wouldn't he have wanted to say, wow, the two hitmen have been arrested now, Catherine McBanawal, now I need to tell you something, Mr. Marcus, my attorney. No, it was never said. So yes, Mr. Marcus will testify. That's going to be very important testimony, y'all. Hi, Artie and AC. Cindy Bullock, Jenny Benny. Oh, yeah. Angel Gully says, passing through, I'm spreading Jesus' message. He said, tell everyone I'm coming and he loves us all. Well, that's a wonderful message, Angel. And what a beautiful name, Angel, right? So, yes, Jenny Benny, it was a big win because this Mr. Marcus, Charlie Adelson's former attorney, he did not want to come in and testify. Whether it's because he has other cases and just didn't want to be put there, it's beside the point. The point is, Artie and AC says, we got a puppy. Oh, Artie and AC, what kind of puppy is it? So anyway, that's the first bit of news in this motion hearing today, the final pretrial hearing. Then there was a defense's motion on Sergeant Corbett, and it wasn't just one thing that Dan Rashbaum, let's just keep in mind, he's in here trying right now today, his final day. Dan Rashbaum's trying to take out anything he can. But he has a motion for many areas of what he knows, Dan Rashbaum knows, that Detective Corbett is going to be testifying about. So we're going to go through those as well. This is very interesting, y'all. This whole thing about a Renee Griggs, who is Donna Adelson's life coach. Wow, okay. He doesn't want that entered into evidence. He doesn't want Renee Griggs' responses back to Donna Adelson. He doesn't really have much of a problem with Donna expressing what the testimony would be from Renee Griggs, and that is that Donna Adelson's life coach there was hearing Donna talk about how stressed she was, how unhappy she was, that Wendy could not relocate. This is something new. We didn't see this in any of the other trials. This is specific to Donna Adelson. This is going to show the jury that Donna Adelson was talking to a life coach and saying, this is terrible. I'm stressed. Wendy, I want her to relocate and all this and that. Remember, it'd be different if it was a psychiatrist or a therapist. This is a life coach, y'all. So it is admissible, and the judge is going to reserve the ruling on this. But I think that the state will absolutely be able to get this testimony in. Also, Dan Rashbaum did not like this whole idea of Sergeant Corbett discussing Wendy's route on the day of the murder. There was the slideshow issue. Remember, this goes down to the exhibits. And also the overarching thing about, okay, why would you want Wendy's this testimony from Sergeant Corbett about what he sees in her route? We all know what that's all about. On the day of the murder, she went way out of the way to go to a liquor store, and then she went by the crime scene when she didn't have to do that at all. That looks highly suspicious. It is a small sliver of circumstantial evidence that perhaps Wendy Adelson knew something was going on. But Artie and AC says his name is Roro Teddy Bear Jefferson Hansen. How sweet is that? A chocolate Yorkie poo. Oh my gosh. Artie and AC, I bet you could just eat that chocolate Yorkie poo up with all your love. How sweet is that? Anyway, yes. So, again, just in summary, these are new people. We got Charlie Adelson's former attorney. He's going to have to come in. Then you've got this life coach, this Renee Griggs, which I believe he's going to rule that she can testify on Donna's state of mind and all of that. Then, of course, Sergeant Corbett's understanding and testifying on Wendy's route, and the exhibits that would be a slideshow or all of that. Now, here's the bombshell, y'all. This is a bombshell to me because I don't believe it was ever, I know it was not ever brought up in former trials, in Charlie's or Catherine's or Sigfredo's. Charlie and Donna are celebrating through text message after Garcia and Rivera's arrest. This is what the state says. They're celebrating about the arrest by talking about on the text messages their theories that perhaps these people, they were into cocaine and all this and that. And the judge initially said that he was going to reserve judgment, but then Georgia Kappelman got up and she said, hey, wait a minute, Judge, basically. She said, the reason we want this testimony in is because if they're saying that they had been extorted by these people, then why isn't, after the arrest, when we have the text messages, why aren't they saying to one another things such as, whoo, I'm so glad they arrested them. And to top it all off, any jury member would say, well, after their arrest, why wouldn't they go ahead and say, hey, police, we were so afraid for our lives. This is a criminal gang, and we were so afraid. But now that you've arrested them and we've been extorted, been paying them money, we can come to you now, law enforcement, and tell you. They never did. They never did. In fact, they were on text message talking theories, kidding around basically, and also saying that maybe they'll look at it like this or that. Anything other than what? Charlie and Donna being involved. The state says this testimony of being extorted, it's a pushback. It's a pushback on the extortion theory because any jury member in their own right mind, if they see those text messages after those arrests, you would think a jury member would be like, well, they should be talking about, goodness gracious, so glad they got them because they've been extorting us all this time. It's brilliant, and Georgia Kappelman is going to slam dunk all of that. Also, Dan Rashbaum did not want Donna and Wendy's text after Charlie's conviction, which was hours after the verdict, being part of the testimony in any of this. But the state says Donna is telling Wendy that Charlie is innocent and that he has always protected her. Why isn't Donna telling Wendy, oh my gosh, Charlie was extorted. Wendy, he was just trying to protect you and our family because they were extorting us for money. No, Donna didn't say anything to Wendy or any. And this is after the people that they were afraid of had already been arrested and convicted. So it's really, really coming down to this whole idea of Dan Rashbaum letting Charlie go on the stand in his trial to say he had been extorted. Dan Rashbaum is in the corner, and Donna Adelson on more than one occasion has stood up in pretrial court and said she's fine with Dan Rashbaum being her attorney, regardless of whether or not some conflicts of interest or anything arises from it. Hello, Tita Reddington. So the state throughout all of Dan Rashbaum's objections about things that have been going on so far in this pretrial hearing this morning, the state again tells the judge, this helps to show conspiracy. Sergeant Corbett's testimony about his summary, the things that are going to be put on a slideshow. The fact that he has been deemed already last week as an expert in certain areas of his testimony, Dan Rashbaum has issues with. He tried to bellyache the whole time when he was talking to Sergeant Corbett about his summary exhibit. It was all brought out today through the state that these phone records of all the people involved, whether it's the hitman, Katie, the Adelsons, any of the Adelsons or anything, all of this has been certified. It's all on the up and up. The judge knows all of this has been used, not the summary, but the evidence itself has been used in prior trials. So I don't see how he could have, in any legal way, kept some of this out. But what they did was they put Sergeant Corbett on the stand, and Dan Rashbaum objects to it being entered. And what is happening is they're trying to explain, the state is getting Sergeant Corbett to talk about what he's going to do in the trial. They're going through the presentation. We didn't get to see it on an overhead or nothing, but they talked about it, that Sergeant Corbett is going to be doing in this trial. It's the summary exhibit, okay? That is what anything Dan Rashbaum can get out. He does not want a part of this trial. Remember, he said last week that this is just basically a closing argument. But today, after it was clarified through his testimony, Sergeant Corbett's testimony, doesn't seem to be that at all. The summary presentation was broken down bare bones today, y'all. Explaining everything from there are pictures on this slide with little arrows going this way, or there's timelines and this and that, and him explaining how all this fits together. So throughout all of it, the questioning, everything, bottom line, in summary, the summary presentation, which is an exhibit that Sergeant Corbett will be testifying about, will be admitted in Donna Adelson's trial. But the judge did say that he can't give opinions outside of the information. He can only explain how he got it and also what it says. Not an opinion, but what it actually factually says. Jenny Benny says the whole bad drug deal thing goes against their whole extortion strategy. Ridiculous. Donna is going down. Right, Jenny Benny. Just think about that. Think about these text messages that the jury's going to get to hear. There's no talk whatsoever in what is going, with Donna and Charlie talking after Catherine McManamall and Garcia and Rivera's arrest. Nothing at all. Not one word. And really, even if you want to put that aside, any jury member would be like, okay, they're all in jail now. They can go to police and say, we've been extorted. Folks, Dan Rashbaum's got his hands full. I don't know how they're going to be able. Y'all, at this moment, the only thing I can think is that Donna Adelson will testify. It's the only way that I see. I really believe she's going to testify, y'all. She's not as articulate, if you even want to use that word, with Charlie Adelson up there with every answer to every question, even if it sounds nonsensical. I think she's going to get rather emotional if she does testify. Right, Jenny Benny. Double extortion at that. Ridiculous. So, ultimately, the prosecution got a lot of wins today. This trial has opened the door for Charlie Adelson's former attorney to come in there. And when you back that up with his testimony that he's going to have to get on the stand and say, you got Catherine McBanawal's brother who said he was approached and all that. It looks as though there was a point where Charlie, Donna, and the Adelsons as a whole were legally advised that it's probably smart to do something to help Catherine McBanawal because she was the go-between. And if they could get her off the hook, then Charlie Adelson would have never got arrested. And y'all know as well as I do, if Charlie wouldn't have been arrested and convicted, Donna Adelson would not have been arrested and is awaiting trial starting on Tuesday. It's a domino effect. Will Wendy be next? Will Harvey be next? One can only wonder about that. And besides that, this whole thing about Wendy Adelson testifying, we already know that the judge has said that changing the last names in her book, also her book, about, how Tallahassee's a backwards ass place or whatever, and how she wanted to get out and all that, that can come in if Georgia Cappleman sees that a door has opened for Wendy Adelson once again to perjure herself, and thus impeachment on the stand in front of the jury. VixTech says the cold-hearted, premeditated assassination simply blows my mind. Take care, Jenny Benny. So, from there, the news about Catherine McBanawal and Luis Rivera being brought into the Leon County Jail in preparation for their testimony as state's witnesses, I went back and I decided that I needed to kind of recap briefly what it is that is pivotal about their testimony. Up front, Luis Rivera, he was right there driving the car when they pulled up in the driveway, and Sigfredo Garcia got out and shot Dan Markell dead. All of the different things that he was testifying to, that's going to be important. He's got a 19-year sentence for cooperating with the state. But how about this, y'all? Catherine McBanawal, when all this went down and everything, and she got arrested, she was originally offered immunity from prosecution, but she didn't want to help the state. And, this goes back to, her testimony in Charlie's trial, because, in her two trials, she lied through her teeth to save herself. Everybody, she was telling the truth. In Charlie's trial, when Dan Rashbaum chewed her up and spit her out on the stand, when he said, you lied about your proffers, you lied about your testimony. Here, let me remind you of what you said. And every time Catherine McBanawal says, yes, I said I lied to save myself. And I think a jury member would say, yeah, she's right. That's why she lied. She didn't want to go to prison. But again, she could have cooperated with the state, and she didn't. Perhaps her cooperating with the state would have also meant that she had to take down the father of her children or implicate Charlie and his family. Who knows? But her testimony in Charlie Adelson's trial will be revisited at this trial. She will testify basically about the same things. Her motive for doing all of this was financial and as a favor to Charlie Adelson. That's what her testimony was in the last trial. It's not going to be any different. She went on to testify about her and Charlie's relationship, how they originally, were going out and how things changed over time and all that. And then Georgia Kappelman asked Catherine McManawal in Charlie's trial, she said, who came up with the idea to kill Dan Markel? And she says, Charlie Adelson. She doesn't say Donna Adelson. She doesn't say Charlie and Donna Adelson. She says Charlie. It was Charlie's idea. But then again, we're talking about solicitation to commit murder and conspiracy to commit murder. We're all well aware of conspiracy to commit murder, especially from the last case. The bottom line is that, in my view, this was Charlie's idea, and the central question will be to a jury member, after hearing all the dynamic and the way that their family was. Donna's so intimately involved in her children's lives, her domestic coordinating, constantly, tied to the hip of Charlie about every single issue relating to Wendy. The jury member's going to ask themselves, did Charlie do this all by himself and did not say a word to Donna Adelson? Perhaps didn't say nothing about it until it happened, and then he went and told his mom he'd done it. Well, my opinion is, through the evidence and the way the dynamic was in that family and the relationship that Donna Adelson had with Charlie Adelson, she knew from day one Charlie's idea of doing this. It seemed to them to be better to hire a hitman than to pay the $1 million that they never went to Dan Markel about, although that was their plan initially, right? They were going to say, hey, Dan, we'll give you $1 million if you let Wendy move to South Florida. Money was so important to them, don't you know? And if they could get a cheapie and something cheap, they'll do it. Catherine McManawal was on the stand at Charlie Adelson's trial saying that Charlie told her that Wendy's ex-husband was causing stress in his family, particularly with Charlie's mother, that Donna wasn't eating or sleeping well, etc., etc. And then they got into her testimony at Charlie's trial about setting it up and paying the money. Catherine McManawal said that Charlie gave an envelope to her to give to the hitman. She says on the stand that she never talked to Donna. She had no communication about the murder with Wendy. No one but Charlie talked about it and gave her money. Okay? So that's her testimony, and that's going to be a repeat of her testimony. But then she goes into the checks that were signed by Donna Adelson, and that she had never performed any work at the Adelson Institute. So Donna Adelson can say that Charlie approached her and said, write these checks, but if it's brought out in court that this happened not all at one time, if this was spread out over a period of time, you would see some messages either in the wiretaps, the text messages, or something about Donna bitching and complaining about having to give this money to Catherine McManawal. Catherine McBanawal says the night of the murder, Charlie was panicked, walking around the house with a gun in his hand. This was after Dan Markell was murdered. That evening, Katie went over to his house, and this is how he was behaving. His state of behavior had to do with the murder, she said. And yet she says that he gave her a Xanax and does not remember what he was saying when they went to sleep. I don't believe that. I don't understand, why she couldn't remember. If he's acting strange and he's walking around the house with a gun, you would pretty much you'd know what was said. And for her to just write it off that I took a Xanax, I wasn't really listening to what he was saying, I don't believe that. And perhaps Dan Rashbaum will once again chew her up and spit her out, other than the fact that she is a big-time liar. But we'll get to that point there in a minute. She does talk about the stapled money, which is very important because Charlie Adelson stapled his money, and that the money was damp and had mold on it. Charlie Adelson, he would not have given her wet money unless what? Donna Adelson, there was the whole thing about her washing this money and how it got moldy and wet. Now, after the bump, Katie talked about, she didn't talk to any of the Adelsons, but she did talk to Charlie. They go into the Dolce Vita restaurant video with Catherine McBanawal. She explains the code talk and everything that was said and what it all meant. This goes into why, if Charlie and Catherine McBanawal are talking code on Dolce Vita, which is guilty as shit there, I mean, why is Donna coming up with code stuff to talk to Charlie unless she knows what's going on? And this isn't just about, well, perhaps Donna knew after the fact, right? This is before, during, and after. She says, Catherine McBanawal says on the stand that she says her brother was approached by someone with the Adelsons to pay for her attorneys. Okay, so again, you put Charlie's former attorney on the stand along with Catherine McBanawal's brother, along with Catherine McBanawal's testimony herself. That's going to make the situation look really bad for Donna Adelson. And of course, go back, get ready for it, go back and watch Charlie Adelson's trial, specifically when Dan Rashbaum cross-examines her, Katie there. He does. He absolutely chews her up. I mean, there is no doubt that she lied in her first trial, her second trial. She lied when she did 2 proffers for the state. Of course, though, her answer, she wanted to save herself. She wanted to see her children again. But the state obviously has made it clear they've given her no hope of ever getting out of prison. Georgia Kappelman says that Katie is a liar. She says this in her closing argument at Charlie Adelson's trial. She says, yes, she is a liar. She says, but if you take her testimony and put it up against other factual evidence and it corroborates it, then you know whether she's telling the truth or whether she's lying. And folks, make no mistake, Catherine McBanawal's testimony in Charlie Adelson's trial, there is chock full of her testimony that lines up with not only times and dates, like if she said she was with Charlie here, they've got cell phone data showing she was there, all of these things. So yes, she did lie. She's not a real credible witness. A jury instruction could be, if someone is not credible and you think they're lying, you can totally disregard all of it, some of it, whatever you want to do as a jury member. And Georgia Kappelman was brilliant when she said all you have to do when listening to Catherine McBanawal's statements is look at the other unrelated evidence that proves that she is telling the truth in certain aspects of her testimony. Cannon says, I didn't know they let people live stream from museums. Are you talking about my home? This is my home, okay? This isn't a museum. Of course, this is a very old organ, so there's antiques and things in this house, but I don't know if you're what you're saying there. Vivian Lundgren says she probably was in charge of the money too. Artie and AC says Donna can't be left out because she needs to take a charge. The Bethy Boop says Donna is a planner, whereas Chuckles plans nothing. Gwen in Texas says, or is she cooperating with the state, I should say? Well, let's see what you said before that. I think she do. Her life wouldn't be worth spit if she testified against the gang members. And then Gwen goes on to say, if she testified against the gang member, or if she is cooperating with the state, I should say. Okay. Hi, Peg. Yes, definitely. Very funny, the Bethy Boop. It's it's like an old organ, not like an organ in your body. It's an old organ. It's very old. It's my husband's great-grandfather's organ. So anyway, Catherine McBanawal is going to take the stand in Donna's trial. Charlie Adelson's former attorney, Mr. Marcus, is going to have to be in there, and how a jury member is going to say, why would he even, what's the connection? Why would an attorney call law enforcement to ask if Charlie Adelson's going to be arrested? I mean, that looks very highly suspicious. Along with this whole idea, whether there was proof or not of fees being paid, which from today's hearing, it looks like there is no actual proof that money was given to Charlie's former attorney or Catherine McBanawal's attorneys or whatever, but there was such talk about it. And also this life coach, this Griggs woman, Donna's state of mind and all of this. This kind of makes me think about that if she had a life, she had a life coach and she was having to vent out and talk about how she had anxiety and stress over Wendy's not being able to relocate, then you know and I know that she was expressing all of this to Charlie because Charlie went and told Catherine McBanawal that. She testified that at Charlie's trial. She said that Charlie came to her and said, my mother's not well, she's not sleeping good, and all of this and that. The central question is, can Dan Rashbaum create reasonable doubt that Donna might have known after the fact, but that Donna was not premeditating anything with Charlie or knew of the plan or financed the hit or anything like that? Folks, to me, the evidence is overwhelming on Donna Adelson. It's just as clear as crystal. She knew at some point. This whole thing about Harvey's birthday, telling Charlie on a text message, delete this text message. Are you working on Dad's birthday? I mean, why would you need to erase that? I mean, it wasn't like Harvey was going to see Charlie's phone, right? So, it's going to go down the way it's going to go down. All right, Fancy Nancy, you just be driving home from Walmart safely, and don't you worry about it. I just wanted to give an update to all the Rays and others that wanted to hear it, that there is going to be some testimony that is going to be new from what has been testified in Charlie's or the hit Sigfredo Garcia's or Catherine McManawal's trials. There's also going to be a life coach, and there's also going to be a summary presentation set up by this Corbett fella who is going to be deemed an expert, who is going to really take us through it. As many of y'all recall, remember that FBI analyst from the Chad and Lori Daybell case, specifically Chad Daybell's case, but he also testified at Lori's. At the end, he kind of wove it all together. And that's why Dan Rashbaum is saying it's a closing argument. But if it is facts and they can show all of it lining up and what happened, the cell phone locations, which showed where they were at and all of this and that, that is evidence. The summary presentation is an exhibit. It's going to be fascinating. And I hope that you all will absolutely gear up, get ready for Donna Adelson's trial. And also know that every evening after her trial, OKJ will have a Ray Room chat or something for us to talk and go over what's been said thus far. So, and also keep in mind this. The state says that they don't see that their case will be any more than 2 weeks. Dan Rashbaum says 2 days. Does that mean that Donna Adelson's going to testify? Or who else are they going to have to come in there? Why would it take 2 days for them to call witnesses? It would have to be Donna Adelson. I would think it would have to be her. Yes, the Bethy Boop, it is. I know that I'm kind of simplifying things and all of that, and some people, you know, take in their information differently. That's why this channel's open as well, because some people just talk the way I do or think the way I do, or they talk differently and think the way they do differently, but they can relate. And so it's just easier. Sometimes you go to hear the same information out of someone's mouth with another YouTube channel, which I highly recommend. Get every bit of information from different YouTube channels you can. But sometimes the way it is talked about, it's just easier for some. They feel more comfortable. Other times they might think that someone else or whatever. I try to break it down for those that, you know, want to hear it from an old country girl, basically, I guess. But yes, it's going to be a really, really interesting trial, y'all. And ultimately, in terms of a prediction on conviction, I think that there's a possibility that she will be convicted of conspiracy to commit murder, but I don't think, and this is just an opinion, that it'll be solicitation to commit murder, which she was not. They would have to prove that she got Charlie to go ask Katie, and I see no evidence of that. The only evidence the state has is that Donna's up in arms, she's stressed, she has anxiety. But unless the state is going to show something at the trial different from what Dan Rashbaum has been objecting to, today, the final pretrial hearing, it looks as though she could be convicted of conspiracy to commit murder, but not solicitation. Charlie got convicted of solicitation and conspiracy. So, I don't see her getting off the hook on this. And it's so unfortunate at her age to be involved in something like this. Because even if she only got 15, 20, 30 years, that's a life sentence. And she just had faith in her son, that her son could pull all this off. Again, I'm learning today that they're texting one another after Garcia and Rivera were arrested, trying to come up with theories, other theories. Why couldn't they just tell the truth in their, like their truth? Their truth was, these people extorted us. No, they weren't talking about none of it. And they sure as hell didn't go to police after they knew they were safe. So, That's going to be hard. That's going to be really tough. Let me just give you this advice before you watch the Donna Adelson trial. I want you to focus in on the extortion theory, okay? And see whether Dan Rashbaum is going to pull that out of his ass again, or whether he's going to try to say Donna Adelson knew nothing. One way or the other, it's going to come back to, if he says Donna did not know about anything and that he doesn't bring up to this new jury any extortion theory, then the state's going to get it in one way or the other. The transcript of Charlie Adelson's trial where Dan Rashbaum went on the defense saying Charlie had been extorted. It will come in. And then the jury will be like, why isn't this defense attorney telling us what he done in this woman's son's trial? He's stuck. And he's going to have to deal with it. Pure and simple. That is the most crucial question that I think any jury member is going to want to know. They're going to want to know what they could see through the evidence, whether direct or indirect, circumstantial evidence. They're going to want to know, have a healthy inference or whatever their common sense tells them as a jury member, through the jury instructions, through the reading of the law, whether Donna Adelson knew of the plan and whether or not she got Charlie to do it, whether Charlie told her he was going to do it, one way or the other. So hello, Donna, Rita Lou. RDNAC has a chocolate cute little baby puppy. Donna. Thank you, Bethy Boop. I really appreciate it. Y'all's comments help OKJ. It can't just be what I'm saying, right? It's got to be all of us together. I want to get some justice through understanding, and I hope y'all will continue to move forward in this quest. Donna Adelson thought through her hubris and arrogance that she could just get rid of her problem. Well, now she has one big problem, and that is she is going to prison for the rest of her life. It is what it is. So, y'all have a great rest of the weekend. Wayne and I are leaving out of town to go up to Knoxville. We're going to go to the football game on Saturday. I'll post pictures on the community wall on that. Monday, no court. Tuesday starts jury selection. And just leave your comments. If you hear anything, you can stick them on any of the live stream posts. I'll read every damn one of every comment y'all say. That's how important it is to me. So with that said, let's see. KJ, to help understand anything under current circumstances, thank you. Well, thank you, Donna Donald, for all of your comments and all the people here that are constantly coming back to help OKJ get through this adjudication process. Y'all know who you are. You know how long you've been around. I appreciate it. Y'all have a great day. Have a great rest of the weekend. And keep on looking.